Former Vice President Mike Pence warned Wednesday that the Biden administration is showing weakness to China's leaders by failing to hold Beijing accountable for the pandemic. Mike Pence said at the Heritage Foundation, in his first remarks on China since leaving office. Weakness arouses evil. China senses weakness in the new administration. Mike Pence, who led the White House coronavirus task force during the Trump administration, cited what he described as the Biden administration's reluctance to identify the origin of the virus and its decision to rejoin the World Health Organization as policies enabling Beijing rather than holding the government accountable. He said the policies mark a reversal of Trump-era steps to counter Chinese influence, despite growing recognition of Chinese aggression toward the United States. Mike Pence said, "Americans of every political persuasion recognize that the Chinese regime harbors adversarial intentions towards the United States and our allies. Yet, despite this new national consensus, the Biden-Harris administration is already rolling over for Communist China." The lecture on U.S. policy in the Indo-Pacific marked the former vice president's latest of a series of public appearances in which he has sought to put his imprint on the national conversation and the GOP's message heading into the 2022 midterm elections. The appearance signaled a continuation of remarks touting the accomplishments of the Trump administration, and criticizing the Biden administration's domestic and foreign policy. The former vice president's next stop brings him back to Iowa for the first time since the presidential election. He is set on Friday to headline Representative Randy Feenstra's inaugural family picnic in Sioux City, before addressing the Family Leadership Summit in Des Moines that night. Mike Pence also has pushed back against the charge from Trump supporters that he could have unilaterally stopped the 2020 Electoral College votes from being counted on January 6. Mike Pence has fallen out of favor with some of President Trump's most fervent supporters, many of whom believe the former president's stolen election claims and say they hope he picks a different running mate if he runs again in 2024. In April, Mike Pence announced the launch of the nonprofit political advocacy group, Advancing American Freedom, aimed at driving the conservative movement by promoting recent policies, including those introduced under the Trump administration, that strengthen the nation's stance abroad, while elevating traditional American values. As a distinguished visiting fellow at the Heritage Foundation, Mike Pence is slated to deliver a series of domestic and foreign policy speeches over the course of the next year.